What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Compin Atlanta. This is episode, I think we had episode 13, lucky number 13, right? I'm excited. Today's gonna be a good one. I see I got I got a guest in the background, you know, came to kind of show some love on the show. So it's gonna be fun, but definitely what's up and hello to everybody who's jumping in right now. Super excited for what we're about to get into today. So the show is Compin Atlanta, where we focus in on the Atlanta market. This is for anybody and everybody who's doing business in Atlanta, where you live here or you do not. And why do we do that? Why are we focused in on Atlanta? Well, to be honest with you, it's very simple. Atlanta is a different breed. Atlanta is not like these other markets. You legit need to know what's going on in Atlanta and how it's happening and et cetera, in order to be able to make it happen. So this time I made sure my sound is on point. The last 2 weeks has been tripping. You know, when you got these one-man operations, you got to make sure all your ducks is in a row. And all my ducks was not in a row. I was out here just wilding. So nonetheless, I'm glad that we are here. We're back and we're getting ready to get things started. So again, shout out to all the people that are joining us. About to bring on our guest. Now listen, I want to be up front and let you guys know, everyone who's watching, okay? You guys are just going to get the opportunity to listen to two friends have conversation. All right. This isn't about her in the sense of her speaking to a bunch of people, because at one point she was like, look, man, I'm about to just mail you my questions. That's it. Right. I'm not even jumping on the show. I'm just going to mail you these questions. Right. And I'm like, look, man, it's not a big ordeal. It's not a big production. We really just get it in. Right. And the goal of the show is to, of course, comp properties and everything like that. But it's essentially to build this relationship, this community where we do exactly this. And so I got some really cool things that we're going to be coming out with in the next couple of days or so. So stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, let me bring on my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for, I don't have no sound effect. I should get like a sound effect button for you or something like that, right? That would be good. Let me try to work on the sound effects for you and hook it up. But get up for my friend, good friend Shar coming on. What's going on, girl?
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I had a busy day today.
That's good. That's good. Busy is good, right?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Shar, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? Who are you? How'd you get such amazing hair? You know, just all the details that matter in life.
Okay, I am from Brooklyn, New York. I came
Brooklyn.
down to Georgia, like 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years now,
All
for the
right.
military. I did HR, for years, full time. And then I decided to make a transition into real estate.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Nice. And
I got my
how have you
license.
been?
Oops,
Okay, I was
sorry.
about to ask you about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got my license a few months ago, and I think I reached out to you when I first got it.
Mm-hmm.
The brokerage that I joined initially, it's a very good brokerage, just not very friendly for new agents. And I repositioned myself and found a new brokerage that is absolutely amazing because not only are they knowledgeable, but I just learned today that I can also be a wholesaler and an agent. So
See
that's pretty
that?
cool.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm super excited for you to be here, and I also found my sounds, so that works perfect. I'm not sure if that's the right sound I should have played, but it's a bunch of these sounds, so we'll go through them later. But I'm excited for you to be here. This is a really big thing, especially for me because I've been on a campaign to one work with more women that are in the industry. Naturally, I think women excel better than men at everything, and also, in this real estate space, there are a lot of women that are killing the game, and a lot of people that want to get started. And I think it's extremely important for us to be able to showcase that and help, right, facilitate that even further. But then the other side to it too is like there's a lot of agents, especially in the market that we're in right now, who need to know and learn how they can play on both sides of the fence. I think it's like super, super key that that's something that takes place, because if you don't, there's nothing worse than realizing how much money you left on the table. Listen, there's nothing worse than realizing that you didn't even know there was a table where money was
Right.
being placed. You know what I mean? And that's a super tricky thing. I was talking with my team earlier today. We have we have our office hours, and we were talking about the behaviors of agents. You know, we get a lot of agents that we deal with, whether they're calling us or we're calling them. And you know, not all agents are created equal, but there's a good majority of agents that, oddly enough, weirdly enough, they don't understand real estate.
Right.
They are very proficient at how to fill out the GAR form, which is perfect. You know what I'm saying? It definitely is what's necessary, but they don't understand the full scope of real estate and all the different ways you can make money and how to make money in those ways. And so they're limited. And what we want to do is kind of change that. I think it's important that we change that. And we
Right.
allow, go ahead.
I was going to say that there definitely is a lot of negative, I guess, connotations around wholesalers or even working with wholesalers as an
Mm-hmm.
agent.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost makes you like scary as especially being new, like knowing that it's technically nothing wrong with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
going through school, understanding like how the contracts and stuff work. It's like there's nothing wrong with being a wholesaler. It's just that I guess some people may have been taken advantage of, which is very unfortunate. But there's other people that's actually out there doing really good work. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
if as an agent, I feel like if you have more tools, that you can pull out, and you have more solutions for your customer or your client, excuse me, then that's like beneficial for everybody. Everybody wins.
And listen, it only makes you a better agent, which is
Right.
why it's so weird that it's something that's like taboo or whatever. The crazy thing I think is, hey, shout out to Rob. What's going on, my guy? The crazy thing I think is a lot of the brokers are actually wholesaling. Like,
Right.
for example, when you see Mark Spain, like, we'll give you a cash offer in 24 hours. Ladies and
Right.
gentlemen, that is wholesaling. He's not saying we're going to connect you with one of my agents. He's wholesaling that deal. And the
Right.
guy has billboards out. But you have people that are like, no, there's this, like you said, this is like stigma of agents that are like, you know, they don't bang with wholesalers, and wholesalers can't stand agents, and investors
Right.
are somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I like agents, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I like wholesalers, sometimes I don't. I'm like, do you understand this is the perfect triangle? And which is
Right.
what we're doing, what we're building out. Myself, Abraham Gray, who you guys probably know. If you don't, he's probably one of the biggest cash buyers here in Atlanta. Very good partner of mine, friend of mine, business partner. And you know, we set up events where we focus on how many agents can we get in the room, how many investors can we get in the room, how many
Right.
wholesalers can we get in the room, and then we connect them all in that same room, talking about all the ways we can make money together, and not like, okay, I'm gonna make money this time, even though this is a great opportunity where you could have made money. No, like where a wholesaler thrives, agents don't play.
Right.
They don't play in that space. More importantly, do they not play in that space? Most agents don't have the time to be in that space. Wholesalers do a lot of work.
Right.
They do a lot of work marketing. They do a lot of work reaching out to sellers and solving problems. They do a lot of work making sure the investor, the buyer that's buying it, gets a alley-oop layup. Like literally, there's nothing you have to do other than go down to the title company, sign the paperwork, and you get to legit walk into the
Right.
property on day one and start fixing and flipping. What that's what most investors really want to do. I have investor friends of mine that I talk to, and they're like, I hate talking to sellers. I spoke with a cash buyer today. He doesn't talk to any sellers. He's like that. That's the furthest thing from what he wants to do.
Right.
So listening to a seller complain or talk about this, that, and the third, that is not, wholesalers do all of those and then some, right? I had one of my first deals, and I'll probably break this down in detail, but my first deal as the wholesaler, all my investor buyer had to do was come down, sign paperwork, and he got an amazing project at an amazing price. It was crazy how low I got this property. my seller, not only did she get a price that worked well beyond what everybody else was talking to her about, I also paid out of my own money for a storage facility to put all her stuff in that she wanted to keep because we had arranged for her to move in with her son. And I paid for the movers to be able to come and take all of her stuff out the house. In addition to that, I went through the house with her and made sure this is what she wanted. I tagged it for the movers. Like I made her life easy. An agent, your typical agent, is not going to do all those steps. They don't want to do all those steps. Why? Because it's 10 times easier to just pick up the phone from someone who says, hey, I'm looking to buy a house. They already pre-approved, and all I got to do is take you to show you a couple of houses, or better yet, send you the addresses because it's on a lockbox super. All you got to do is pretty much walk in, right? So there's obviously there's opportunity, abundance amounts of opportunity. And that's one of the things that we're going to focus on, making sure we get more and more agents, wholesalers, investors in the same pit, playing together and making so much more money together. It's crazy what we've been doing. And now I'm thinking, hey, look, it's time to put everybody onto this. So this is why I'm glad you're here, right? Because you reached out, you was like, hey, listen, I think I want to get my license. And I was like, I don't know if you remember, I was like, why do you want to get your license? And you was like, because I want to do real estate. I'm like, okay, like what do you want to do in real estate, right? And he was like, well, I want to be able to buy and sell homes. I'm like, okay, well, listen, you don't have to get your license to do that, right?
You know what it was? It was more so of building confidence because I felt like people would trust me more if I had my license.
Big time.
Like you call someone, and I felt like, you know, like that rejection, I was afraid of the rejection. But honestly, regardless of your title, whether you're a licensed agent or you're a wholesaler, you're still gonna face rejection. So
big time, yeah. That's the truth. You still, so you're still in the same space you were before, right? Yeah. But listen, being an agent does have its benefits. It does have a nice ring to it. Like there's a sense of confidence people already have, and you say, "Oh yeah, I'm a real estate agent." It's like, okay, cool. Rather than like, if I was in your seat at you know the coffee shop that you're in right now, and I turn around and I start talking to somebody about real estate, and I don't look like an agent, right? I got this shirt on, and they just like, all right, who the hell are you? You know what I mean? Like this random guy all of a sudden telling me facts about real estate, right? Like, so it definitely has its benefits. But again, whether you get your license or not, I think it has more so to do like I told you. I said, okay, perfect, go for it, right? Go get hit me up when you get it, and I will help you. Right? And essentially you hit me up, you're like, all right, look, so this is what I want to do. How do I get about it? So I was like, well, listen, if you can hold on for a day or two, let's do this on today's call. Because I know there's tons of people that has hit me up just in the last week and was like, listen, I'm stuck. Or listen, how do I get started? Or what do I do next? Right? To be able to make this this money and participate in what's happening in the market right now. The market is shifting. Some people are scared. They don't want to do anything. I know investor friends of mine that's like, we're not doing anything. We're not fixing flipping. We're not buying a home. We're not doing anything until we kind of figure things out. And some people are making a killing in this market because they understand how to make money, right? Warren Buffett talks about when there's blood in the streets is when you go shopping, right? It's when you really come in, you clean up house. Because, and I think that's where the term "scared money don't make no money" actually come from, right?
And you won't if you only have one trick. So.
Oh, listen, if you only got one trick, you gotta go sit down. This ain't it. This is not the market. Let me tell you something. You know who's really struggling right now? The people who became an agent in the last 12 to 24 months. They are struggling right now because think about it. You became an agent when it was like so easy to sell a house. All you had to do was say, I'm an agent. You would get the listing, and then 3 days later, it would be sold. And you'd be like, oh, I could do this. This is all I gotta do? I'm doing this all day. And so you started making money all crazy. And then you hear change of the market, and you're like, I don't know what that is. It's cool, whatever. And now we're in, July, August, September, and those effects are starting to take place. And now it's like, man, like, what do I do now? How do I do real estate? So
people are scared to sell their homes now too, because they're thinking that if they sell their home now, they won't be able to get into another home. and they're not realizing that that shift in the market is creating more inventory, so they will be able to get into another home.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of, actually, that's something that I'm going to touch on with you later. That's one of my questions that I have for you.
Okay. Well, we're about to get into it because that I like where you're going with it. That's actually a really good question, and how to be able to look at what the end user, the seller, is trying to be able to accomplish, right? So I really like that. So here's what we're gonna do. For anyone that's watching, that's in the comments that has questions on like, hey, how do I get started? What do I want to do? Put your comments in. Now I'm gonna be addressing questions and concerns that this young lady, the superstar, has. So if it falls in line with what you got going on, then perfect. If not, you got to put your question in so that we'll see it pop up and we'll be able to help you out. Now, the first question is, should I just start as a wholesaler, or should I go get my real estate agent license? With everything that's going on with the new laws that are also taking place for wholesalers, if you're not aware, there are a few states. I actually took a picture of the last bit. So Arizona is one of the states now that has applied the new laws. You have Oklahoma, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Georgia. Georgia is one of the states that jumped on the bandwagon, which I'll be honest, I was surprised. Georgia is normally the slowest to, jump in on what everybody else is doing in these other states. And this is the law. They want to be one of the pioneers. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. But you got to understand your laws. One of my mentors told me real estate is one of the only industries where politics heavily influences what you can or cannot do in real estate. And so you have to pay attention to the law. So for here in Georgia, if you're in the other states, I'll post the pictures so you can just follow me and you'll be able to see it. So if you're in other states, follow my thing and you'll see it. But I'm going to talk about Georgia now. So Georgia, it says one of the laws is it prohibits commercial harassment against wholesalers. Essentially, if you're a wholesaler, you can't be using a multi-dialing platform to call a seller, or if you call the seller and they said no and you following up, those things are considered illegal. So you have to go about doing it the right way. Now, before we jump into that, I want to make sure I help people understand, because some people it's like, well, damn, how am I supposed to do this then? Like, if I can't follow up, essentially, if I can't market, or what does commercial harassment mean? Like, I don't even know what that means. Here, check this out. First and foremost, I want you all to understand this. No matter what platform you're using, so if you're using, let's say, Batch, or you're using Privy, you're using, I don't know, pick anyone that is being marketed heavily throughout the wholesaling community. I want you guys to understand something. 10 years ago, there's a 98% chance that those platforms did not exist. Wholesaling still had existed. In fact, the people who put those platforms out were still wholesaling to a certain degree about 10 years ago. So what does that mean? It means there's still a way to do everything that the laws is trying to prohibit you to doing, but it may take you a little bit longer. A lot of reasons why we don't have the success that we're looking to have is because you guys are trying to get to the bag conveniently. You want everything to be as easy as possible. There was a point in time where in order to get leads, you have to go to the courtroom and pull them all out one by one. Then you have to figure a way to get a skip trace. Now you guys could literally wake up in the afternoon, go to a website, pull the list, get a skip trace, and before you finish making your lunch, you got a brand new list right in front of you. So understand what I'm trying to say is, one, you do not need to be spending money on tools and things like that that's going to make things easier for you. Make the money first, then you can go spend money on the tools. And until you have enough money, I suggest you either don't use it, do it the long way, or you squat up with somebody. If you have PropStream and I have PropStream, why we both need to be paying for PropStream? How about we just share the account, right? If you on Privy and I'm on Privy, let's share the account. I mean, in an 8-hour work week, how long am I really using Privy? So if you're paying $150, think about it. If you're paying $150 for Privy, how many hours are you actually using that product?
Right.
Right? So you got to look at those things and figure those things out so you can know exactly how to come out. Because a lot of you guys are starting your wholesaling company and you're spending $5,000 or more on tools and you're not making any of it. That's why it's like, oh, shit, hey, but I mean, listen, it adds up fast. When you put together your list, the tools that you're using, skip tracing costs, they get there, right? So we got to know exactly what to do. Rob said, I'm double closing on all of my deals, regardless of the state. And that's one of the things that you can do as well to get around any of the laws. So again, this isn't the time to run away like the jig is up. This is the time to realize, okay, we just pivot. What makes you an amazing entrepreneur, the fact that you understand and know how to pivot in any market. That's how we make the money, right? So let's get it started. What is your first question that you may have? And then I kind of wrote some notes down as far as like what to do from here on out. But I want to first answer any and all questions that you have.
Okay. That's my random noise when I'm thinking.
Yeah. Got you.
I think I was asking you, I'm not sure exactly where to start.
Okay.
Because I think that I did a thing of getting all of the information and then I sit on it because I'm not exactly sure where to begin. And I came up with multiple different plans and again, just not sure exactly where to start.
Where to start? That's awesome. I love that question. I love that question because it's a question that a lot of people end up having. And the reason why a lot of people have that question is because there's so many places you could start. That's the crazy thing. Like, for example, in fact, I'm going to try to see if I can find um, this YouTube video that my mentor did. Well, one of my mentors, as you guys probably already know, his name is Pace Morby. It's an amazing individual. But Pace has taught me to say a lot would be an understatement. One of the things that he talked about is, knowing what your avatar is, right? Do you know what I mean by avatar, Char?
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay, perfect. So your avatar essentially is, think of it like, do you play video games at all? Or have you played video games?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you right now.
Oh,
I'm gonna mute now so that
the noise in the background. Okay, all right. I'll let you go ahead, mute out. Or if you need, listen, if you need to take time to go slap somebody, and then come back. It's cool. We got you. We got bail money. We're good. It's been a good year, so we're good. All right. So your avatar is essentially, is think of it like a video game. Like when you're playing a video game, you get to pick your character, right? One character is going to be completely different from the other character, but they all essentially are in a fighting game, right? Or think of it like, basically just how you want to be able to move or look. Like technically, especially us, like we're obviously very, out there people as far as like our style, right? So for example, you know what I mean? Last time I saw you, you didn't have that avatar, right? Now you got the beautiful locks with the color in it. Last time you saw me, I had a full beard and my hair was much shorter. Now I got a bundle under this hat. I gotta get my hair done today, and my beard is short. So we pick and choose different avatars of how we represent ourselves to the world, essentially, right? Based off of what we like, what makes us feel good. In real estate, it's the same exact thing. There's a ton of different avatars that you can kind of choose. Now, I would recommend just watching the video. I'll post a link to the video so you guys can be able to see it, because it's a lot and it's long. But it's probably, I would say, one of the most influential videos that there is, that he's ever done, in my honest opinion. And if you know Pace Morby, you know that man has done
I did. I was watching a podcast of him earlier, and
Uh-huh.
Jerry kind of touching on what you were talking about earlier about how these laws are coming out, and they were talking about getting your contracts together. So that's kind of a good video to go and look at too.
Oh, big time, big time. So here's a
Making sure that
video here.
oh, go
Getting your
ahead.
contacts together and everything. It's called How to Choose an Avatar. And again, I'll take this link and I'll put it in the show notes so that you guys can have it. But again, it's an amazing video to watch because he goes in detail about like what's the different avatars in real estate. Now, you already are playing a role in avatar in real estate. You have an avatar as a real estate agent, right? Now, as a real estate agent, because you just got started, you only have one lane really that you can play in. You know, after you get some years, you put your hours in, you can open up a brokerage and you can go down that path and stuff like that, which is another avatar, it's another avenue. But
Right.
for right now, you're in that one lane. So, in my honest opinion, I think people should only have one or two avatars max, especially if you're just starting out. So that's rule number one. Only have one to two avatars. If you are going to have more than two avatars, I can almost guarantee you will not be as successful as you think you're about to be. Because each avatar is its own type of business, right? So some of the avatars that we already know of is direct to seller, right? So like, you know, as you're a wholesaler, you market to the masses in a particular area based off particular criteria, and you're doing your best to be able to reach out to them. Now, in direct to seller, there's two types. You have your visionary direct to seller, and then you have your integrator direct to seller. So a visionary direct to seller is someone who's big picture. They're like, okay, here's how the organization should run. You know, here's this, that, and the third. They're big picture. They come up with amazing, great ideas, and then for the most part, they're gone. So to give an example, to keep using Pace. Pace is a visionary DTS, direct to seller visionary. His partner Cody is an integrator, direct to seller. His partners who hands down takes care of everything, right? Podio, what my cold callers are doing, what list they're calling, this and third. Most people, especially when you're starting out, you're trying to do both, both of those positions.
Right.
You can, but it's very sucky and it's extremely grueling, long process until you get to a point where you realize somebody else should be doing half of this and I should be doing the other half. Now, which
Right.
half should you choose is going to be based off of you, right? So when you're talking about being a wholesaler, are you considering being a wholesaler? And do you think you're a visionary or more integrated? Are you more detail oriented, or are you more big picture, bright ideas? You know, you get bright ideas all day long, and then you know what? I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
Um, I would probably think the visionary. Probably.
Visionary. Okay, perfect. Now, what I would tell you, this is how you really would know. There are tests that you can take to be able to figure out if you're more visionary or if you're more integrated. I have a friend of mine, his name is Chris Pod. He's legit an amazing human being because he's 80% visionary, but he's also 80% integrated. Now, how did he do that? I don't know. He's taken the test like 4 times and is giving them the same results. Me
That's amazing.
personally, you know, he dude is a unicorn. I'd be like, dude, I don't know how you
I
do
need to
what
take
you
the
do.
test. You got to leave the link.
I will. I'll put the link in the notes for everybody where you can be able to take the test. Me personally, people think I am more of a visionary because they see me out front, and this is a great example, right? I am. I'm like 80% visionary, but I'm actually very high on integrator. I'm like 65% integrator. So my business partner, shout out to Sneaker Investor, Ivan, he's like 100% visionary. He don't do nothing in our back office. Like he got a login, but he never uses it. Like that's not his lane, right? He's more big picture, talking to private money, big problem solving. Even though I can do that, he already has that skill set. So he's more the visionary in our business, and I'm playing the role of integrator because he doesn't have that skill set. So together, we combine and make everything work. You see what I'm saying?
So is the integrator the person that pulls all the pieces together? Is
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah.
Oh,
You ever see?
I switched.
Oh, you okay? All right. So
Okay,
you
I'm
ever
usually
see
the
the
one bringing
movies?
people together.
You ever see the movies where the visionary is the guy in the movie that comes in, he has a meeting, he goes, all right, here's what I want to happen. I want to be able to get us to make $1 million a year. I think we can do that. We got these new products, and I had a dream last night after eating ice cream at 3 in the morning of a product that flies and talks to you whenever you want it to. Okay, guys, make it happen. Break. That's the visionary, right? And the integrators are left like, what in the entire like what? How? What? And they figure it all out and they make it happen. But it's a great team because the integrator one wouldn't be up at 3 a.m. eating ice cream. They probably would have been working.
Right.
Right. So the integrator typically doesn't come up with those ideas. They're the ones that make the ideas happen. So if you are an integrator, which this would be perfect for you because you're also a real estate investor, you want to be able to split your time, right? So if you're an integrator, what I would recommend that you're going to do first and foremost is going to be find yourself a visionary person. You want to partner with a visionary person. Now, I want to be clear when I say partner because a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want no partner, or oh, I don't know how am I pay a partner. Listen, you can JV on deals without having to be in a LLC partnership with somebody, right? So what I'm saying is, the next step for you would be, okay, who can we reach out to in the different marketplaces that we're in and say, hey, listen, I'm an integrator. I'm ready to rock it, ready to kill it. I'm also a real estate agent. And if you can't tell, I'm pretty fly, I'm smart, and I'm trying to get this money. I'm looking for a visionary. And here's a key thing. I'm gonna tell you something. If you walk into a room of like 100 people, there are at least 75 to 80 visionaries, and the rest are integrators. Visionaries will fight over an integrator. So you are like precious gold because integrators can sometimes do visionary stuff. Visionary people probably never could really do what integrators do. So the value is there for both, right? So that's the first thing. So I would tell you if you're gonna start, that's where you would start. And it takes the pressure off, right? Like you don't have to be the one that's like, all right, how do I figure this out? Your visionary partner's gonna come in and say, all right, here's what you need to do. And you're gonna be like, oh, bet, I already know how to do that. I know what to do for that. Or let me go figure that out. And you'll be in your zone of genius, right? In your zone of genius. That's a big thing. If you're operating in your zone of genius, you never get tired. This is, I mean, like, this is fun to you. Like, it's not a big deal. It's when we are operating, doing stuff that we don't really want to do. That's a headache that, you know what I mean? You get home, you're like, oh, I hate my life. That's where that comes from, right?
Right.
So,
that's when it's draining.
That's when it's draining. So, did I answer that question for you?
You did.
Okay, good. All right, next question. If you have, what's your next one?
Okay, next question is, I have a friend, and basically, she put her house on the market back in 2020 before the pandemic.
Okay.
She got a few offers on it. She didn't. I think she wasn't happy with it at the time, and she had like some things going on in her family. Didn't sell the house. Now she's wanting to sell the house again, and her concern is like what I said earlier. And she's scared if she sells the house, and she won't have anywhere to go. And so, I guess the question is, because the home has a few things that need repairs and things that she doesn't want to put money into. Mm-hmm. I figured that she might be a good candidate to do wholesaling or sub-2 kind of thing for, because she's scared about leaving and not finding a home, so she wants time to stay in the home, but at the same time she wants to sell it, and she wants to be able to use that money to get into the next home.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah. So she has a home. She wants to sell it. She wants to get the price that she wants, but she needs to sell the house so she can use that money to get into the new house.
Right.
That's one. But also, she doesn't want to sell it and then end up with nowhere to go.
Right.
Okay, so in this particular scenario, this is like really good, girl. Like, all right, here we go. So this is how I do for my team. All right, when I give my team my training, I help my team understand. We have something called the lead digest, something that I created, and it essentially breaks down the three main types of leads that you'll get. Right, you end up having something that's a cash deal, wholesale.
Okay.
Or you end up having something that's creative deal, or you end up having something that's going to be for the market. Okay. Now, sometimes you may have a scenario where a seller could be in more than one of those, but it's very rare a seller is going to be qualified to do all three. Now, why do I say that? Very simple, really. Think of a wholesale as I need to sell this quickly, right? So in any transaction, this is any transaction, you have convenience, you have price, and you have time. And any time that you have a transaction take place, the seller can have two of those, but not all three. So if a seller says that I want to sell this quickly, and I also don't want to have to be doing 10,000 showings to sell this, that's their two, which means they're willing to give the other side of the table the price that they want, not the price that you want. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's flip it. Now, what if it's a property that needs to be listed? Well, that means I'm okay with not being convenient. I'm okay with it's Friday afternoon, about to come chill out with my lady, and then here Shaw come, hey, I got a buyer about to come. Is that cool? Oh yeah, fine, that's cool. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay with that inconvenience, and I want the price that I want, which means I'm willing to let you have the time. I'm willing to take as long as it takes to get the price that I want. Right? So that would be more so for a market deal, for agent. Now, creative deal, which I absolutely love. We actually just closed on a creative deal last week. But creative deals are different because if it doesn't quite fit for cash and quite fit for a market, it's like dead smack in the middle for a creative deal.
Right.
A creative deal would allow the seller to get the price that they want, and it'd be more convenient, but not necessarily the time, but maybe the time. Like it's a weird type of thing, right? But to kind of give a bigger breakdown, it's like, let's say I have a seller who wants to sell their property. They want to be able to. Oh, perfect example. I got a deal now that I'm looking at. I won't say the address or anything yet because it's off market. They don't want it out there, but it's an amazing deal. It's in a great part of the city. The seller just bought the property, literally less than 5 years ago. They had a family situation take place, and so now they need to sell this property because they need funds from this in order to help the business. Okay. Now, they would list it, but it wasn't hitting the numbers that they were looking for. Okay. The property is in amazing shape, so they can't sell it to a wholesaler, to an investor, because what would the investor come in and do? Everything's fixed up. So what do you do in a scenario like that? You go on the internet, you just, up eating ice cream at 3 a.m. and you find this amazing, sexy man named Eddy Charger, and you're like, yo, this guy looks like he's the one to solve my problems, right? And so essentially what we're doing is we're working out a deal where we'll be able to pay the seller the down payment that they need, and we'll take over the brand new mortgage, but then we'll put a new tenant in place that's going to be able to pay the monthly and also come in with a down payment, right? So that's where creative would work, right? An agent can't give that, and a wholesaler or an investor can't give that. That's a creative. So those are the three different options. So Rob, for sure, we definitely gonna get to copy. You can definitely put it in the chat, or if you guys want to send it in the normal means, you can right there. So in this scenario, Char, what I would say is it sounds like she probably would do better just listing the property, but maybe she's just not realistic with the price that she wants. The market has changed, and so she might have to adjust to the market changing, or she could do something creative if she needs, if the property, let's say the property isn't selling because it needs some work, right? So if that's the case, what she can do is she can partner with an investor, like let's say myself, right? And what we'll do is we'll partner on it. I'll come in with my crew. My construction crew will fix the property up. We'll pay for it getting fixed up. And then when we sell it, we can now sell it at a higher price.
Right.
So now, once we get back the money that we used to fix the property up, she can get the higher price number that she wanted, and we can make the money, that's left over, or we split the difference, right? That can be called innovation. There's different styles of innovations, but that's a creative way that you can make it happen. Now, if she's willing to sell her property at a discount, then she can sell it. She just has to wholesale it. But it sounds like she needs to be able to get a certain dollar amount to be able to make that work. So that's what I would recommend. If you really want, we can call her, and what I mean, if she was available now, I would say let's call her. But if she's not, then let's see what's a good time that works for her, and we can call her, and I can kind of walk her through like what some options could look like for her, and then just have her pick, and whatever she chooses, I'll let you kind of spearhead that for her, especially since you guys are friends.
Okay. So I spoke to her like literally right before I jumped on the call with you.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So she would be busy, but I do have a meeting with her on Monday.
Okay.
To walk through the house. If you'd like to walk through with me, or you want me to call you, then
sure. What time is it?
It's going to be at 10:30 time frame.
Okay. We'll talk offline. If I can't make it, I can send my team to go by, but I should be able to make it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool beans. It does sound like what you were saying, like, because I think they have like an HVAC system issue, and I think that's one of the biggest things that she was saying that she was having an issue with in the house.
Okay. All right, that works. Let's see. Let's go to the text message. Okay, perfect. All right, so now what's the next question that you have?
Presence on social media.
Nice.
I struggle with my presence on social media. I guess it sounds so silly to say, like, how do you just get out there? But I guess it would literally be to do it. But let's just say you have to make it like an easier version of, not an easier, but like something that made it seem more doable for the person that is shy to be out on social media.
Got you. So here's the thing with social media. Social media has definitely changed. And I think what has been causing like an issue is just trying to understand, like, okay, like, how do I do this, right? And how do I get it going? With social media, I think what you have to do, and I actually have something that I wrote out to make this easier for anybody who is trying to do this. So, okay. So with social media, what you want to do is this. First and foremost, understand that no one is expecting you to be in front of multi-million-dollar houses and you're like, I do this all day. And like, no one's expecting that, right? Think of your social media like a channel, right? What's a really good TV show that you watched, like the whole entire series, like a couple of seasons? Like for me, Game of Thrones was one of them for me, or like Breaking Bad, right?
I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I've been watching a lot more anime lately, though. So.
Oh, perfect. What anime have you watched?
What animes have I watched? I watched My Hero Academia.
Perfect. Let's take that. That's a great show. Love it. All right, so here we go. So My Hero Academia. Now, did you get on board late, or did you kind of catch it early?
You said that I watched it all the way through, and I
Okay.
watched dubs. So there's like little pauses
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's gonna take a while to come out in English. But
Yeah. All right.
I'm caught up. I'm all caught up now. I even just watched the last movie that came out.
All right. So this is perfect, right? So when you were watching it, I can guarantee you that there were people that had no clue what the hell you're talking about.
Of course.
Like even right now, they're like, I'm gone. They lost me. I'm gonna wait till they start talking real estate again. She said anime, and then I said, all right, I'm checking out. Right? Here's the thing. Do you have any friends of yours that you recommended watching it after you started watching it?
Yes.
All right. And then did they end up jumping on the bandwagon?
Absolutely.
All right. But now in the beginning, when you was like, yo, you should watch it, did any of your friends were like, I don't know. Shit, I mean, look, did you have any people like that?
Right.
But they eventually got on, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So your social media presence, think of it just like that TV show. In the beginning, your goal is not to try to get everybody to watch you anyway. Your goal is only going to be a few people that are going to be like, hey, you know what? Whatever it is about you, that are going to be like, I like that. Her hair is red like my hair. Oh, she's a black realtor like I'm a black realtor. What it could be the most silliest thing. I follow this one girl because we have the same dog. Like it don't even matter. It could be the most simplest things. People will follow you, but not the masses. But the thing is, you don't need the masses to follow you, right? You just want to have a small group. And what happens is, as you continue to post, your exposure to other people will naturally grow. It's called organic growth. So now the question is, okay, well, what do I post?
Right.
Right? And it's very simple. I tell people, and this is even me. I'm not a pro yet. I don't even know how many followers I have, but I'm building it up, right? So what I do is I have no more than 5 things about myself. Because my biggest struggle was like, all right, I'm gonna start posting. What do I post? What do I not post? Like, do I post all of it? Like, I don't know. That feels kind of weird. Like every moment of my day, like, hey y'all, I'm on the toilet. Like, I don't know, should I post that or so? I look at other people who are posting. Like, for example, Gary V. He's a great example. Most people would say Gary V is a monster on social media. I mean, he's doing that. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Gary V has never posted his family. Gary V has never posted his kids. In fact, I rarely have seen a video of Gary V home. I've only seen Gary V being Gary V, which means he's only showcased what he wanted me to see.
Right.
Gary V could legit be a legal or an illegal drug dealer on his off days, and I would have no idea. I would literally be shocked, like, what? You're talking about empathy, Gary? You sure? we wouldn't have no clue, right? The thing is, social media is like a TV show, right? You legit are gonna post what you want to come through. So I would say pick no more than 5 things about yourself that you okay with letting other people be able to experience with you. So if it's, for example, if it's your love of anime, we know real estate is one. You said you like to dance, that's another one. You're Caribbean. You're not under the bus, you're on top of the bus. Listen, I like to dance too, girl. Listen, I'm Caribbean. I love dancing, all right? Now, I get my kids down here and turn on some Caribbean music. They'll get it in, all right? And they only like 3 and 8, all right? And then pick your 5th thing. Let's say you like cooking, or let's say you like shopping, or let's say you like driving fast cars, or you like it could. And the crazy thing about it, the most weirdest thing, people are gonna love you for that more. Let's say you like, yo, on my off days, I like to, I don't know. I like to hike. Perfect.
Walking, find trails.
Listen, you have no idea how many people will follow you, and I'm gonna tell you why they're gonna follow. They're gonna be like, yo, this is a cool girl I know. I follow her. You should follow her. She be going on hikes. She loves anime. I mean, honestly, it's like a business card without you even having to do anything. And it's only the stuff that you feel comfortable being able to put out. Now, as far as your business side, you might be thinking, okay, on the business side, what do I put out? On the business side, here's what I want you to put out. I want you to document the fact that you're getting started in your real estate journey. Hey world, what's going on? My name is Eddie. I am coming to you live. This channel, this is just about me, but in particular, I'm gonna talk a lot about these different things. One of the things I'm gonna talk about the most is me doing real estate. I'm an investor. I'm a real estate investor that wholesales, and I'm also a real estate agent. I want you guys to follow me on my journey as I make my way to $100,000. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take, but I got a goal. Come see the good, come see the bad. I'm gonna show you everything. Tune in. Listen, that sounded like a TV commercial, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna tune in for that show. People will tune in to be able to see you succeed, and your haters are going to tune in to see if you fail. But guess what? They still tuning in. Right? And you need that. You want that because, again, that's how your organic reach grows. So remember, when you're thinking about social media, make it plain and simple. Don't pick no more than up to 5 things that you want to be able to showcase about yourself. And then soon you'll start to see, like if I put out a video of myself in front of a house talking about a deal and I got like a lot more interaction on that, then I'm gonna put more of those videos up, right? As opposed to me putting out a video just not in front of a house and just talking about regular stuff. I'm like, oh, people don't really want to hear that. Okay, cool. I won't post that no more, right? So that's how you kind of like guide it. You know what I mean? Now there's other things you can add and do this kind of third, but I promise you, just keep it plain simple. Keep it as gritty. You don't gotta be playing with all the filters. You don't gotta be like, oh, I don't look, I gotta wait till I get my hair. You don't need all that. I promise you, because the way the algorithms are set up now, they're actually rewarding people who have a more real version of their videos than people who got like a production feel.
Right.
Right?
Okay, that makes sense.
So there you go. That's your answer. So here, look, I do one even better. You're on social now, right?
Yes.
All right. You ain't know this was about to jump off. So I just got somebody's address for Spring Woods. We're gonna skip trace. We're gonna do that next, right after Rob's property. So all right, go to your IG. We're gonna do this live right now. Are you on? Oh, you on your phone?
I am on my phone.
So I wonder if you. So if you go to your IG, it's probably all right here.
Okay.
What's your IG?
It's _Reese.
Underscore Reese?
Yeah, RECEI. I'm gonna change it to Shar the Realtor.
RECEI.
Probably should do that soon.
Yeah, you're gonna have to change that. You're gonna have to change that. Okay. So I was gonna do a video, but you didn't follow me back. That's crazy. I just feel some type of
No way.
But here we're gonna do it. No, you follow. I'm just playing with you. You follow. You follow me back. All right. So here I'm about to shoot a video.
I'm following you.
All right. You following me?
Yep.
All right. So here we go. Let me turn the camera around. All right, what's up, Instagram world? We are live, and check this out. I got some friends with me. One particular friend, here she go.
Hi.
Star.
Oh my God.
Say what's up. So
Hey.
This is technically gonna be her first interaction in video. Please follow her. She's a realtor, and she's also an investor / wholesaler. Getting started here in Atlanta, Georgia. Follow her. Go check her out. I'm actually gonna post. I'm gonna post this in my stories, and I'm gonna post it in my post. I'm gonna tag her. She's gonna change her name because it was something crazy, something wild. I don't even say it on air, but follow her. She's gonna be great. All right, boom. Here we go. Send. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So listen, girl. Now I'm gonna take the picture, and I'm doing that because I want to be able to show you just how like simple this is. Like it's not difficult at all. Take the phone out, document. Here we go. Boom. There you go. All right. Now I posted, I tag you, and I'm gonna put, hey, this was me. I spent like an hour on Compin Atlanta with Eddy Charger. We had a blast. I was at the coffee shop. The lady next to me is mad ignorant, but it's cool though. You know what I mean? We still got it through. Just, you know what I mean? It's your documentation. People, the reason why social media works so well is because people, for the most part, are bored with their own lives and they are seeking some form of brief entertainment, and being able to watch or listen or hear from somebody else who is either similar or the complete opposite from you is entertaining from them. And if you are teaching anything or you're doing something that it has some sort of inspiring type of things to it or whatever, they're gonna follow you and they're gonna love you, and they'll be your biggest supporters. They'll support you more than your family will, which is kind of crazy, but it's the truth. All right. So, any other questions? What other questions do we got?
Oh no, I don't have any more questions. You're absolutely great. You answered all my
Awesome.
questions.
Awesome. So here's what we do, because I wanted to make sure I set you off, right? So now you know what type of person that you're gonna be, right? You're gonna take the test. But off rip, you think that you becoming a wholesaler is what you want to do, and you would more likely be an integrator wholesaler, which is perfect, DTS
Right.
integrator. So we'll get you started there. We're gonna get you started with your social media, so that's that, right? And then also there is, at the end of this, I'm going to talk to you and everybody else about follow up. So right now we're going to jump into our skip tracing. Dang, I keep saying skip tracing. We're going to jump into our comps. We got two properties so far that I want to make sure we get at least these two before the end. But then after that, I want to talk to you about the importance of follow up. Follow up and comping is one of the two top things that you must do in this business. You legit won't be able to do anything in this business if you don't follow up and comp. So let's jump into comping, then we'll talk about those two, and then we'll end it. All right. What should I use for comping? What should we use? Should we use PropStream? Should we use Zillow? Should we use Privy? What do you think? Shar, actually, I'm gonna let you choose. What do you think we should use?
I'm familiar with PropStream, but I would like to see Privy because I've been hearing more about it lately.
All right, well, say less. You done did it now. We're going in. All right, so here we go. Let's get Privy up. All right, and Rob, we're gonna start with your property first. Rob, are you still on here? In case we got any questions on it. If you're still in here, Rob, hit us in the chat. Excuse me. All right, so here's this property. That's the address there. Let me pull it up. Oh, let me share my screen. That might work too. Okay, cool. No problem. All right. Let's do it. Share screen. All right, so this is Privy. Privy is a great tool, great system. Rob, do you want to come on live? You want to come on here with us and kind of talk to us about the deal? I'll send you the link if you want to jump on with us. If Rob, if you want to jump on with us, send me a text message and I'll reply with the link. All right, so here's the address of this property. It is 629 Stokeswood Avenue. There it is right there. All right. Cool. All right, so here's the property here. We got an off-market deal. Text my number. Let me see. I think I have your number on here too, Rob. Hold on. All right, I just sent you a text message, right? All right. So I was waiting for Rob to join us. Here we are with this property. It's in East Atlanta. Great market, great area. Here's the thing. So here's the thing I want everybody to know about Atlanta, though. So when you get to these zip codes, there's certain zip codes. You have your 30316, 30318, 30111. I don't know. Yeah, 30311, 3018. Those are typically hot zones in Atlanta, and that's because they've just been hot forever. Like they have great sales. There he is. What's going on, Rob? Oh, Rob, you gotta turn down the sound. In Atlanta, and that's because they've just been hot. Roger, I texted you the other day. Did you receive it? I'm not sure, Roger. Let me know what you text me about. I don't know what the text was. All right, Rob, are we good now? Can I unmute you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, you sound good. You look better. What's going on, brother?
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I got you on my phone and on the computer.
Oh man, let's do it. Love it. All right, so this is a great area, great market. I see it's being sold for $0, so that's a steal, right? What? Tell me a little bit about the property. Are you talking to the seller, or are you dealing with the agent on this one? And do we have pictures yet?
Yeah, I'm with direct with the seller. I actually got
Okay.
a final meeting with him today.
Okay.
But, we got. This is going to be. I think it's going to be. He's on board with seller finance, right?
Okay.
But the inside, I don't have pictures. He took me through it with his on FaceTime. But it's the whole inside is basically 40 years old, 50 years old, maybe.
Okay. So we're talking full gut at this point. Was there anybody living in the property before?
Yeah, they're living in it now.
Oh, they're living in it now. Okay. So is this a owner occupied property, or is it a property where tenants are living there?
Yeah, it was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Hold on. You went on mute. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. So this is an owner where the aunt, she died. The aunt died. It went through probate. And he said it's all finished. Everything's in just his name now.
Gotcha. Okay, so the aunt died, and are they living in the property, or is it being rented to tenants?
No, they're the owners living in the property.
Okay. All right. And so they are looking to leave, but you said they're open to creative. So kind of tell me what you're thinking on that thought process there.
Yeah, he's about $7,000 behind on the mortgage.
Okay.
He's got about $40,000 left on the mortgage.
Okay.
And I think it's worth fixed up. I think it's worth around $360, but it's really hard to tell.
All right. So let's comp it real quick before we get any deeper into it. And this is a really good property, by the way. So first things first, when you come down here and we look at the box that they have for our, I'm assuming this is set at a mile already, I think. But these properties here we cannot use. You can't use any of these properties because it crosses the main road. Now, I was talking to another agent, by the way. I was talking to an agent, and we were going over a property we was trying to comp. And one of the agents messaged me and said, "Well, if you go out 2 miles, you'll find a comp." And it was like, yeah, but we don't go out 2 miles, right? And then another agent was using data that was from over 6 months ago. And I was like, bro, I'm using data that's 30 days at this point, and you're going past 6 months. So there's certain rules that we use when we're comping. Why do we use those rules? Very simple. It's because who do we typically sell these type of deals to? An investor, right? So an investor, are they going to come and live in the property, or are they going to come fix the property up to sell it?
Sell it.
Right. So once they sell the property, the owner is going to get a loan from Bank of America or whoever, and Bank of America is going to say, okay, cool, let's send out and get an appraisal done. And the appraisal is going to come in and they're going to say, all right, let me take a look at the houses in this area to see what this value of the property is, what we can approve this person for. This appraisal is not going across this main road. They're also not going to go past 6 months, and they're also not going to go up to 2 miles to find a comp. And so we use the same rules appraisals use, because that's heavily depending on what the value of the property can get approved for, which is a big indicator for our investors to be able to sell the property at the right price, right? So that's why we comp the way that we comp. So in this scenario, what I would do is I would come over here, use my little pencil, right? And I would just draw so I can grab all these houses on this side. Boom. All right. So now everything that's here is going to be what I want to look at. Now, these are just deals that are recently sold on the MLS. You can look here to see when they were sold. All right. This is the latest one that was sold. And typically what I like to do is this is a 1940 build. So first thing I want to do is make sure I get the year built down pat, right? Because as you can see, we got everything in here. 1910, 1923. These are not comps. We can't use these because they're too old. So to take those out, 1940, check. 1943, check. 1950, we can let that slide. We can let all these 1950 slides. Why? Because it's within the 10 years. But we're going to take a look at it. Because if the whole format of the property, if the properties has changed, which typically is every 10 years, then we can't use any of those as comps, right? And another way to get a good indication of that is by looking at the prices. So you see the 1950s kind of range. You have some that's 295, and then you see the older houses, 1943, 1940, are more expensive. So that goes to show you in this area, the older style homes have more value after they've been remodeled. And it goes to show you these 1950s are probably newer styles, which is why they're cheaper. So in that regard, I'm not going to look to take into consideration these 1950s so much, especially once we take a look at them and see like, oh, they're built totally different. These aren't comps. Because when you're doing comps, it's apples to apples or siblings, right? I want to look for if there's any twins in the family first. And then I want to look for brothers and sisters. Then maybe I might look for cousins, second cousins, and all that other stuff, right? But you definitely want to stick with, apples to apples when it comes to this. So our property is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Is that correct, Rob? Is it a 2-bedroom, 1-bath?
It's actually a 3.
Okay, so it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath or 3-2?
It's a 3-2.
All right, bet. Okay, so it's a 3-2. All right, and of course we want to verify.
2-1. Sorry about that.
So it is a 2-1.
Yes.
Okay, so the 2-1. Now, this is a really good. I really appreciate you for coming on, Rob. This is a good comp. So this one is a 2-1, and we look at the square footage. This one says 1112. What I would be doing now is I wouldn't necessarily get worried because damn, I got a 2-1 and there's a couple 2-1s here, but 3-2 is really what I want to get for. I would be focused on the square footage. So here's my property, 1112. And when I come down here, this one's 970. So my property is bigger. This one's 1056. Everything here is pretty much the same, around the same square footage. So what that means is if I needed to, I can convert this 2-1 into a 3-2 like these properties did. And these are both 1940 properties, which is a great thing. Now, remember not too long ago, I was just talking about when did it sell, which is a big, big deal because we're in the middle of a market shift, right? So the market has changed in the last few months, and you can tell by looking at these prices. So I call these months the crackhead months because properties were going crazy. They were selling at prices that just did not make sense. And you could tell, look, this 1950 property sold for 640. Now we're gonna look at it in a second, but it sold for 640, right? The other one that sold for 600, 1940 property, that sold for 600, and that was back in 6.3. Now the last two that sold in that area, even though they're 1950 builds, one sold this past month, another one sold the month before that, sold in the 400s and 295. So you got to keep that in mind. If we find a comp, we want to make sure we're sticking with the ones that sold the most recent. So what do I mean by that? This property right here has more value as a comp. This one, I don't know why I selected them both. Oh, here. This one right here has more value as a comp. 1950 built 2-1. It has more value as a comp than this property. No, where is that? Than this property does. Why is that? Because this one sold more recent time. And it's a 2-1. Now this 3-2 sold, but I'm almost positive this was probably in bad shape when it sold. All right. So let's take a look at some of these properties and see what we got going on. Let's start with the one we just had selected. So let's see if there's any pictures. That's another thing I like about Privy. Privy gets you the pictures. I mean, Privy is perfect if you're not an agent and you need access to this stuff. But if you don't have Privy, you can easily do the same with some of the other tools as well, right? So real good pictures. Gave us the whole aerial shot. This is super clean. I'm really hoping they take us inside. And they do not take us inside. This is wild. So I've learned something about pictures on the MLS or on these platforms. If you see a lot of pictures of the outside, chances are there are no pictures of the inside, which could either mean the property looks like dog crap in the inside or they just couldn't get pictures, right? Because of the shape of this property on the outside, I would be extremely lost in trying to see the inside of this. Looks crazy. But we can go down to the details and kind of see what it says. Nothing in here says anything about remodels in the kitchen or bathrooms. And most people say, well, that doesn't mean it doesn't have anything. Well, what it means is if I was trying to sell this property and it had a brand new kitchen and a brand new remodel in the bathroom, guess what I would be putting down in the description? All of that. I would not be busy talking about all brick ranch. Who can't look at this picture and see that it's an all brick ranch, right? So these are ways, if you don't have pictures, you can kind of still extract information to be able to see, what you need out of the deal. All right. So that sold for 431. We're gonna say it sold in as is condition, even though it's probably in good shape. Let's go to this one. This was the 3-2 that sold for 600 and something, and that's this one right here. So it's close. It's very close to our property. No pictures here. Let's see the comments. No comments on this one. Okay, so this one sold. I'm not sure whatever happened to it. Let's look at external listing and see. All right, so we got some stuff here. All right, so this they did some work done to it. Okay, so this looks like it was in good shape, but they also did some work done to it. So that's why it sold. All right,
All right,
so
so
a
this
property like this,
they did some work done to it.
all the way fixed up, would definitely like
Okay, so this
do
looks like it was
well.
in good shape, but they also did some work done to it.
All right, so let's come in here. So far, what am I thinking is my ARV on this property? I would probably take the last 3 months, which would be these right here. They're all relatively the same square footage, and I would use all three of these. Let's see, where's this at? This is right here, yeah. So I think it's these three. Oh no, this one right here. So you see these houses here, they cross Flat Shoal Avenue, but Flat Shoals, um, now here's the thing. Depending on the agent, the appraisal person that you have, they could say, well, Flat Shoals actually turns into Boulder Crest, and that's a major road, and so this is still a major road, and therefore all of these aren't comps, which would be kind of crazy, but they can do that. But here we have some comps. So if we just use these here over the last, let's see, this 640 was when 640, can't use that one 'cause that's way too far back. That was in March. And then this 490, that was in April. We can't use that. So we're just going to use these last three. All right, so let's get our calculators out. And we have 601 plus 431 plus 295 equals that divided by 3. So 442. Now, Rob, I think you hit this on the head. You said you felt like the ARV was in the fours.
So 442. Now, Rob,
Oh,
I
Rob,
think you
listening
hit
to
it on
me.
the head. You said you felt like the ARV was in the fourth.
Yep.
Okay, so now your question, how much should you get
Now
this in a,
three. I was thinking 380.
you was thinking 380. Okay, so let me ask you, what are you estimating for your repair costs?
Not three. I was thinking 380.
You're thinking 380. Okay, so let me ask you, what are you estimating for your repair costs?
100K.
You thinking 100K? All right. The property needs a new roof.
100K.
You think 100K? All right. The property needs a new roof.
Hey, Rob, can you hear me? It's on delay. It looks like when you're hearing me.
Needs everything.
It needs everything. Okay. All right. So if it needs everything, last question, and I can't see it from the picture right now, but does the property have HVAC on it currently, or does it need to have HVAC run through it?
But does the property have HVAC on it currently, or does it need to have HVAC on it?
AC,
Rob?
AC
Uh-huh.
and furnace are good.
Okay. So the AC and the furnace are good. Perfect. Okay. And everything's good with plumbing? And everything's good with plumbing?
Yep.
Okay. So, Rob, here's the thing. If your investor is going to be able to fix this property up, and then ultimately try to sell it for somewhere in the fours, offering something in the threes is going to cut is too tight of a deal,
Fix this property up.
because you have to also put into consideration
Somewhere in the fours.
commissions are going to have to get taken out of that deal, closing costs, holding costs, and then the investor's profit. Does that make sense?
Because you have to also put into consideration
Closing costs, holding costs, and then this investor's profit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, Rob, I'm having a delay in hearing you. I think because you're listening, and so it's much, much slower. Is there a way you could turn that sound off and turn back the sound that has the camera?
So, Rob, I'm having a delay in hearing you. I think because you're listening, and so it's much, much slower. Is there a way you could turn that sound off and turn back the sound that has the camera?
Okay. Yep. 1 second. Let me try.
Okay. All right, so we'll try to get Rob back, but let me kind of explain what I was saying. My guy Jermaine, thanks, bro, for sure. Yeah, there was a delay on there. So what I'm saying is this, and this is one of the key things that you guys really have to.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, much, much better. Thank you, sir. So what I'm saying is, what you guys have to do, think of this. So my team, this is how my team thinks. Our sellers are customers of ours. Our cash buyers are our clients. So our clients, we want to make this a smooth, simple, easy process because they're going to keep coming back and buying from us, right? So if I'm going to present a deal, I have to present a really good deal, especially in this market, okay? Typically, a good deal right now is 20% on average return for an investor. Now, I wouldn't necessarily, I would probably still take off maybe 10% off of this. I'd probably say my ARV is 400,000, just to be on the safe side. And then you also have to take in consideration, and what I mean by a safe side is, what if the market continues to go down lower and lower? When it's time for me to sell this property, I'm thinking I'm gonna get 442, but I'm only gonna be able to get 400. So erring on the side of good judgment right now is the best thing you could do as an investor. So if the property ARV is 400,000, what it could sell for, I got to take in consideration my closing costs, commissions, holding costs, and the profit. If we're doing 20% of the ARV, then that means the profit for the investor should be around 80,000. That's after they pay 3% holding costs, which is like 12,000, and about 1.5% closing costs on average, so that's like 6,000, and then 3.5% to commissions to the agent that they're going to use to sell the property, which is about 14,000. So all in all, the investor is going to have to be in. Now, mind you, we haven't even discussed what you want to get for your assignment fee. So how much would you want to make on an assignment fee on this one?
10 grand would be fine.
Okay, so if you did 10 grand on a deal like this, you could offer the max to your seller about 203,000.
203, you said?
203. Actually, 203, 520, and you could throw in like 33 cents if you want. Make it look like you spent a long time with your math, right? And then you would find a buyer that would be interested at 213.
Yep.
And if you can get this under contract, I might know a buyer that would be interested in it. If you can get it.
For the seller finance it?
So here's the thing with seller finance. Do they need the money to be able to move?
Well, he says he needs 100K, but that's not going to happen, I don't think.
Right. So you would have to find out exactly how much he needs. Because honestly, if you're gonna pay 100K or even 50K, it might even just be better to just find an investor who's willing to just pay the price and be done with it, right? Especially if we're not gonna keep this. Like, if we're gonna keep it, turn into a rental or something like that, then yeah. But this property to have its value needs to get upgraded.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would think selling to an investor who's willing to do that makes it much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So it makes more sense to make it a cash deal.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you make it creative, you're essentially paying too much for it anyway.
Right. Makes sense.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Anything else on this one?
No, man, I appreciate it. I'll if he goes for that, I'll touch base back with you.
Okay. Cool. 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 Hang out with us. Let's comp this other property. I want to get your thoughts on it too. So
Okay,
this
man.
one
Thanks.
is 25 Springwoods, of course, 25 Springwoods Drive. This is in Dallas, Georgia. All right. And the house is hiding behind this thing over here. But we got 162 and we need to comp it. So now this is going to be different. We're talking Dallas, Georgia. If you guys aren't familiar with Dallas, it's a lot of acreages that are out there. So what does that mean? That typically means that it might be difficult to find properties close by, and so you're gonna have to stretch out um, your space. Now, one of the things that I would ultimately do on something like this, seeing that there's like so much going on and there's not that much activity besides the neighbor's house, which, as we can already tell, is like totally different type of house, right? So, and this house, let's see how long has it been listed. They just did a price reduction of about 10,000, and it's been listed. I'm assuming it's been listed for a while since it's 50 days on market. You see that right here. All right. So this wouldn't even be a good comp, right? So how do we figure out what a good comp is? See if there's any investor activity. No. All right, so let's go and get our pencil out again. All right. Oh, what the heck? What the? That's how my daughter says her swear words now. She'll be like, "What the?" All right, so here we go. Here's a couple of stuff we see. Nothing has sold recently besides this one property here. Literally, like everybody stopped in the last 2 months, and then this property here. So this one sold for 261. Not nowhere near the same size square footage. And let's see. The year built is pretty similar, so we can make that work. But our subject property is way bigger, so it would necessarily work. This is more in line. Let's take a look to see how close this is. 370, right there. And the other property was that one. Okay, so relatively close, but two different types of properties for sure, and we can't really see it. But if I had to say what the comps would be on this one, and this square footage is much bigger than our property, so this one here. Okay. Would love to see pictures of outside the house. The inside looks wooden and old. Okay. All right, so that's what that looks like. All right, and our house doesn't quite look like that. All right, I want to say this is, I can't tell, but it definitely doesn't look like it's brick. So on this one right here, I don't think you can get um, these prices again. The market was much higher. So what I would do is I would probably take this 370 and deduct maybe 15% from that and make that my new ARV. So I'll be going with that. Oh, bless you, girl. I pulled you back right when you were sneezing. But I would be going with that. Now, is this enough information for me to like be solid on this? No, it's not. One, I can't see this house, and I don't know what the condition is like. So I would definitely want to be able to know what the condition is like, and maybe be able to get my eyes on it or get some pictures to be able to see the house itself. And I can. This is an old picture, maybe, but it looks like it needs a new roof and among other things. So that's big into taking into consideration. But one of the other things that I would do is I would reach out to an agent, try to find an agent that's in the area, right? Maybe you might know one. Maybe she's on a podcast with us doing a live show. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she's gonna decide to change her name to her Instagram name so that people can start to DM her if they're looking for an agent. Maybe, I don't know. But I would reach out to an agent and say, hey, I got this property. I'm thinking about selling it. What are you seeing right now? The market is wild. What do you think we can actually sell this property for? And get their take on it, right? Okay, I've got some pictures. Let's see what the pictures are like.
I do have a Compin question.
You do? Okay, cool. Do you guys want to see the pictures too? Should I share the pictures?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, let me show the pictures. Okay, so while I'm doing that, what's your Compin question?
Okay, my Compin question is, what if I've seen before, like, let's say you have a house and the house is like 2,500 square feet, but it's
Okay.
sitting on like an acre and a half of land, and the house is super old, so it's not really worth much, but now the value of the land is worth more than the home itself. How
Mhm.
would you calculate the value of the land? I've literally seen another house get sold down the street that had about the same amount of land, but the value of the house was better, but it was also a new build. So it's kind of hard to tell if that house sold because it was a newer build or if it was because of the amount of land that went along with it.
Yeah, great question. Great question. So there are certain instances when you have a property that is going to end up going from. It's just no point in keeping this property. Let's just use the land, right? And so typically, what you want to do is first thing I would tell you is get in contact with a contractor or a developer in their area and say, how much would you pay for land? Like, how are you calculating? Because they have changed how they're buying and how much they're buying as well. So you definitely want to look out for that. Now, the other thing too is to be able to, especially since you said there's one in the neighborhood that had a new build on it, I would reach out to the buyer. So sometimes when you're doing comps, you don't have to like do all the legwork. Sometimes it's worth just asking the people who are going to actually do the work, how much would you pay for this? So you got a new build that just happened down the street. I would find out who built it, and I would say, I love the work that you did on this one. I got one down the street. Would you be interested? And let them give you your price. Because if you do that, guess what? Does it matter what the comp is? What you come up with comps in ARV? No. The only thing that matters is what the buyer's gonna pay for it anyway, right? Do you think Louis Vuitton or any of these other people care that their price is $30,000 for a bag? No, because they know as long as somebody's willing to pay for it, it's the right price, right? If it was priced too high, they would lower it until they got to a point where people were willing to perceive the value in the property, right? So now let's say you don't have that. How do you calculate land? Typically, you want to look for whatever has been built recently. Sometimes that's gonna be hard because you end up in a cul-de-sac or in an area where the last house that was built over there was like 10 years ago, right? So that might be hard, which then at that point, try to go the other route or deal with an agent. But if you find a property that has a nearby new build, I would find out how much that new build sold for, and then I would divide that price by 3 or even 4. Because most builders are going to pay 1/4 or 1/3 of that price because the amount that they're going to spend in building and materials and all this other stuff, and then for them to have profit is going to be the other 3/4 of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, all of that made sense.
Okay.
My question would be like, what the conversation with a developer or the builder in the area, like, how would that go? Whether you're an agent or not an agent, like, how do you get them to talk to you about?
Easy. Listen, developers, contractors, they want to make money, right? So I would call and be like, hey, what's going on? You don't know me. My name is Sher. I'm like one of the hottest new agents coming out, and I'm looking to hit the floor running. I don't want to waste your time. I actually bringing some value. I have a property that's in an area that I recently saw you do some work. I love the house on 123 Main Street. That was like some good work. I've seen some trashy work around here, and you did an amazing job. I was reaching out. I have a couple of other people that was also interested, but I wanted to see if you were still looking to do work in this area, because I'd much rather let you get this piece of land to build another great property than to sell it to this other individuals that I don't really like their work too much. What would you pay me for this land? If I sent you the specs, could you take a look at it and kind of give me your thoughts process? Whatever you want to pay for it, I'll negotiate that part with the seller and get you this deal. Period.
Gotcha.
That's how that
So
conversation would go.
that's a conversation even before getting the property under contract, or that's a conversation after you get the property under contract?
Depends on you. You can have it before, you can have it after. Here's the thing, like if you have it before, does it hurt you? Absolutely not, because now you just got information on how this developer works, what he's looking for, and all this extra stuff. So if this deal doesn't work, you still have a developer in your back pocket that you can send another deal that will work, right? And if you get it under contract, then cool. It's still a win-win for you. There's no way taking action doesn't allow you to win. Period. So it's still good either way you go.
All really good points. Thank you.
Awesome. Good. All right. So here's the pictures that we have. This out here kind of makes me feel like they started doing some work. Looks cleaned out on the inside for the most part. Ooh, I like that telescope though. All right. So I mean, property looks like it's in decent shape. It looks like it just needs like a regular rehab. I might have skipped the bathroom. Here you go. That's what I was looking for. Hey, little mama. Let's see. We got. All right, yeah. So bathrooms just need to be updated. For the most part, looks like. Outside that, everything else looks normal. So I would call this a regular rehab. First of all, whoever took these pictures did an amazing job. This is how I like my pictures sent to me. I want over 100 pictures if you can. And it's not like pictures of stupid stuff like, here's a picture of the corner of the wall. Like, no, show me the house. Like, show me everything. So this is
I was
great.
wondering if people care about like actual like things being in boxes and stuff around the home. They don't care about it.
Things been well, no, like you talking about like me seeing this? Like, no, I could care less. Like this particular picture, I'm not quite sure what they were showcasing, but maybe they're showing the wall. Let's take a look at some other pictures and see. Okay, yeah, they're probably just trying to show the room in the wall. But the thing is, you want to show enough pictures that it allows for your investor or their contractor to be able to make an estimated decision on how much repairs is going to be without having to cost anything. right? So that they don't have to go out. That's what I'm saying. If I can make a decision without having to go out there, then that's even better.
Right.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. So to the individual that sent this over, I want to say this is Roger, actually. But so far, what I would think, again, the pictures helped, but the comps still kind of suck because you don't have anything that's recent. So I would still try to reach out to an agent and just get their thought process like, hey, what do you think this could sell for as is? And then also, is your seller trying to sell this property to an agent, or are they trying to list it, or are they trying to sell it to a wholesaler? Because if they're trying to sell it at a wholesale price, then it's perfect. I would still reach out to my agent, find out if they have any buyers in the area and what they would be interested in. And then I would also try to be able to look for my buyer at that point and be like, hey, I got this property. What would you give me for it? That's another option. If there's not enough comps for you to be able to make the decision that you need to make, just ask your buyers, hey, you got tons of pictures here. If you want, send me a message. If you want, I'll send this to my buyers and see what would they give you for this. And then now when you have a price, you can go and negotiate with your seller and say, hey, here's what I'm willing to pay for it. All right, I hope that makes sense. All right, cool. So let's jump into it. I promise you guys at the end, I was going to drop some nuggets, especially if you're just getting started. There are a few things that you want to make sure that you do. Let me stop sharing right quick. All right. So there's a few things that you want to make sure that you are doing. First and foremost, watch the avatar video. All right. I'm going to post that in the notes here on YouTube. The second thing you want to do is you want to take the test. Are you a visionary or are you an integrator? That obviously makes sense so that you be able to know how to move. And it doesn't matter what business that you're in, it's going to be beneficial for you to be able to figure that out. And then the third thing is my success secrets. So whatever, they're not really secrets, but they're just things that I know is going to be, is going to definitely work for you in this business. And if you don't do these, I can almost guarantee you will not have success in your business. So step number one is the biggest problem you have most of the time. This is for new people or people who have been started and they still haven't gotten a deal yet. The biggest problem that you have is actually taking action. That's the biggest problem. A lot of you know what to do. You really do. Listen, check the box and move on. Take action. The reason why you want to take action, and here's the psychology behind it, right? You don't want to take action because you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to create a problem. And for whatever reason, that's what's stopping you. Here's the kicker. In this industry, we get paid to solve problems. We get paid to solve problems and we get paid to create problems. So what do I mean by that? I'll tell you in a second. What I mean by that is if I have for example, Shar, your friend, she currently has a problem.
Right.
And if you solve that problem, I solve that problem, we will get money for solving that problem. Plain and simple. But in order to do that, you have to take action.
Right.
But if you're stuck and saying, well, I don't want to take action because what if I make a mistake and cause a problem? No, we want the problem. That's how we get paid.
Right.
By making the problem happen. Now, the other side, you heard me say, create a problem. Why do I want to create a problem? This is the best part. If you go find a property, I got a property I'm looking at, they want $100,000 down. I'm not liquid. I don't have $100,000 to give them down, but I really like this project. That's a problem. So now I created a problem for myself because I really want this project, and now I have to solve this problem by reaching out and speaking to my private money lenders and saying, hey, how much percentage would you want to make on this deal? If the deal makes sense, I will give you as much percentage as you want. Let me borrow $100,000. That is a problem I created for myself, that I am solving, and it's going to lead to me making money, right? So again, at the end of the day, you got to take action so that you can solve problems and create problems, because problems is what allow for you to make money. So that's step and rule number 1. All right. Rule number 2 is, I wrote it down so I could be prepared. You know what I'm saying? So rule number 2 is you guys have to squat up. You got to network with people. Here's the wrong way to network. I'm going to teach you the wrong way to network so you can be like, man, I didn't know I was doing it wrong. No, Eddy Charger is telling you right now, this is the wrong way to network.
Right.
Stop going to these networking meetings and you have nothing to talk about. You're wasting your time, okay? Stop going to network meetings and start talking to the people you already met. I know you already. We talk all the time. Why are we still talking? Listen, this is not high school, people. All right, that was for high school at the lunch table. I saved you a seat. We're not doing that. We want to talk to as many. In this industry, talking to as many strangers is exactly what you want to do. I know your mama and daddy told you, hey, talking to strangers is bad. You an adult now, you can handle it. Talk to as many strangers, and when you talk to them, I want you to say 2 things. I want you to say, hello, my name is Eddy Charger. Why haven't we done a deal together yet? Why haven't we made any money yet? I'm confused, right? And the second thing I want you to be able to say is, what problem are you currently having in your business right now that I can help solve? Those are the 2 main things that you should be talking about. That's how you network. How you don't network is by going to events, just hanging out, shooting the shit, having a good old time, feeling real good about yourself, and then you go home a week later, you still broke. That doesn't make sense. It's not what we're doing. All right. So now that's 2. My third one comes by way of a story, right? So the story is based on following up. The most important feature, the most important part of this business is following up. If you were to ask anybody's business, they'll tell you exactly how many follow-ups it takes to get deals closed. Meanwhile, you're calling sellers, it's been 30 days and no one's trying to do business with you. I guess it doesn't work. No, you're missing the point. We make majority of our money in the follow-up stages. So right where you quit, I'm calling for the 22nd time. I'm calling even though she cursed me out. I'm calling even though she texted me, go to hell. I still called her because at the time it was beneficial for her. But right now, when we're a week before pre-foreclosure, she's like, I'm so glad you gave me a call. And this has happened to me personally. I've had people that are like legit curse me out like they know me. Like, wait a minute. You're like, you don't even know me like that to curse me out like that, right? And then we end up helping them. Took months, close the deal. And look, my guy Jermaine was like, yo, facts, 100%. Close the deal. And then they didn't even remember they cursed me out. The only reason why I remember is because I'm super petty. I put it in my notes. Seller said, you. And I put the date. I've had wives apologize for their husband's behavior on the phone. I've had husbands apologize for their wives' behavior. You got to remember, when you're calling we're not just calling random people. We're calling people who seemingly have problems that they need help with. And most people don't know how to solve those problems. So it becomes a problem for them. And now here you go. They probably just forgot about the problem. And here you go. Hey, I was calling about that house. Right? And they're like, man, you're going to piss me off. And they don't know you, so you're the perfect person to get all these bars. So here's the story. Here's a story a friend of mine was telling me about this lady. She's an accountant. She went to an event, right? And she met a young gentleman there. Hold on a second. She met a young gentleman there, and they exchanged contact information. He was one of the individuals who was looking to do business with her, and everybody followed up, but he was persistent. He called, And she let him know politely, like, listen, man, I'm really just focused on my business right now. I am not interested. Thank you. He said, I totally understand. I appreciate your time. 7 days go by. He calls again. She picks up. It's like, hey, what's going on? She's like, nothing. Just saying hi. I just wanted to check in on you. And she's looking at the phone like, did we not have the conversation? Maybe we didn't have it. Am I? And so she tells him again. And he's like, okay, cool, no problem. 2 weeks go by. He follows up. A month go by. He follows up. At this point, she's ignoring the calls. Another month go by. Follows up. Another month. Follows up. This goes on for 6 months. And at one point in time, she's sitting in her office. Her phone's ring. She looks down at the call ID, and she sees his number. And she rolls her eyes. And she's like, oh, my gosh, this guy, he just won't quit. She picks up the phone. Fast forward, they are now husband and wife. Now, what do you think happened in her life? Do you think some of the guys that are watching this like, damn, what was that phone call about? I wonder what he said to make that change, right? Well, here's what really happened. It wasn't what he said. It was what she was going through. You see, 6 months ago, at the time when he had first made connection with her and reached out, she did not need his services. She wasn't even focused on any of that. In fact, she had things in her life that was working and moving just fine for her, so she didn't need any of that attention. As time progressed, the systems and the people that were dependable in her life started to drop off. And so by the time we got to this 6 month mark where she finally picked up his phone call, the reason why she picked up his phone call, which is the most important part of this story, which is a true story, by the way. The most important part of the story, the reason why, is because even though at first she didn't want to answer the call, she was like, you know what? In her mind, subconsciously, he has shown me that he's dependable and consistent. How do you solve most problems? By being dependable and consistent. How did you know your mama loved you? She was dependable and consistent. How did you know this is the perfect boyfriend for me? Because he's dependable and consistent. And even though he was probably dependable and consistent on day one when she met him, she had other things going on in her life that did not allow for her to need him in that moment. But when everything else started to go away, he became a reliable source, and the rest is history. When you are on the phone in this business and what we do, you are only tasked with two main things: solving problems / creating problems. And the second thing is being dependable / consistent. You guys cannot be afraid to follow up. I can teach you so much about this business, but if you're afraid to follow up, the game is over. You've lost the game. You cannot be afraid to get cursed out on the phone. I think for me, one of the best things that I had was my first phone call ever as a wholesaler, as anything, on my fresh new Mojo dial, ready to go. The guy picks up, it's literally 8 o'clock in the morning. And when I tell you, he gave me the business, he gave me the business. And I was just like, this is my first, I literally told him, I was like, sir, this is my first call. He didn't care at all. He let me have it. It was like, yo, oh my gosh. But he hung up and I was like, well, you know what? That's it. I'm done. You know what? This ain't for me. But then I had a quick check, right? I checked myself and I was like, I'm still alive. I thought I would die if something like that happened. I'm still alive. And it made me so incredibly powerful. I was calling everybody. People had attitudes. And I'm like, yo, fam, you got to do better than that. The guy early at 8 o'clock cursed me out way better than you. All right, hang up, bye. Boom. It was like I started having fun with it. And I kept following up. So those are my 3 things I would tell you. exactly what you need to be able to do to get started. You are on your way, Shar. I think you're going to be an amazing realtor slash investor agent. I can connect you with some individuals who are already doing that now to kind of guide you along the way. And when it comes to doing creative deals or anything like that, you know, we got you back, Compin Atlanta and stuff like that. This is what we do. So, with that being said, Shar, Rob, thanks for coming on. Shar, do you have any other questions before we drop off today?
One book that you would recommend.
Oh my gosh, that's a horrible question. I have so many books that I can recommend. Okay, I'll give you a book that I'm currently reading. That way it can be fair. Grab me that book.
We're gonna have to trade reading lists.
My reading list is wild, and also I read on Audible too. The second one.
I feel like the way that you speak, I feel like I got a few authors in common.
Listen, so this is a good one here. I have the book and I also have the Audible. This individual is a powerhouse. Just listening to his podcast or listening to him on YouTube, you'll be able to get like amazing amount of stuff. Bless you, mama. You'll be able to get an amazing amount of stuff. But this book is really, really good, and it's called The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. I got this book when he first was about to drop it. He sent it to me, and then I went out and I brought another copy of this book to give as a gift, and then I also brought the Audible. It's that good.
Amazing.
The concept is simple. Okay, the concept is simple, but remember, I'm not trying to give you guys like a book or give you, Shar, a book to read so you can be like, oh, this is mad intricate. I want you to become that individual who practiced one kick 1,000 times, right? As opposed to, I know 36,000 of the Wu-Tang Clan martial arts. Like, you don't need all 36 chambers to win right now, right?
Right.
You need to be able to practice one kick. So this book is that thing. This will help you with the mindset to get you to that space and that level that you want to get to. And then, you know what I mean? From there on, girl, it's like to the stars. Like
super exciting. Thank you so much. This has been super informative. I really appreciate you bringing me on. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm glad you got a chance. And you was about to chicken out, like, no, I ain't trying to come on. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm super glad you came on. It was a lot of fun. Glad Rob got a chance to come on, and we got a chance to comp some properties and answer some questions. And we can do this anytime. Like I said, the Compin Atlanta is structured just for this type of stuff. We comp deals, talk business, and we'll do it every Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So this is gonna be good. I'm gonna do my job and put the links and stuff in the notes so you guys can come back and watch it. And also we have Cash Buyer Fridays. I'm trying to book out another Cash Buyer Friday here in Atlanta. So what Cash Buyer Fridays is, where I connect everybody in my network to a local, real life, in real time cash buyer that's doing a fix and flip. So they're either doing a fix and flip or new construction, or they're doing a Airbnb, and we meet at the property. So let's say you don't have no cash buyers and you're just getting started, or you need new cash buyers. You show up to my event. I'll give you a great example. I did one with my guys, Jet Properties. They had a townhome. We went to do a cash buyer Friday at their property. They had their contractors there working while we're doing it. We're walking through the house, talking about how much money they spent, where they got the lead from, where they're looking for more leads. You know, you essentially now got a cash buyer. You know everything about them, including how much money they spent on their rehab. All of this is for free. But that's not even the best part. The best part is I also invite agents and invite other wholesalers. So now you got investors, agents, and wholesalers all networking on. I mean, listen, I had one guy come, he was brand new. We had 6 other cash buyer investors who were at that event. He walked away with 7 cash buyers, and now he's just looking for deals that they told him to go look for. So he knows what price that they want. So now he's just calling these individuals up, getting it locked up at the right price. He already has a buyer in tow. So that's what cash.
Absolutely amazing. I will be at the next one.
Good. I want you to. It's gonna be great. That's Cash Buyer Fridays is, and then we're having another event. Let me see if I can get the link out here real quick. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, you most definitely should. But also I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I am on Twitch. In fact, I'm about to start porting this over to Twitch so we can get that moving and just really do it big. We are doing an event on September the 8th. So I'm about to share my screen real quick so I can show you guys that. It's gonna be September the 8th. We're doing an event. You can actually go to share. All right, here we go. You can actually go to, wait a second. All right. You can go to Eventbrite and you'll be able to see it. It's called the REI Pre-Foreclosure Workshop. It's gonna be lit. I got Abraham Gray. He's one of the individuals I told you guys about. He's one of the biggest cash buyers here in Georgia. That's not a hedge fund. We got yours truly, Eddy Charger. We have Jamari is doing pre-foreclosure properties. He's doing door knocking, and he's doing driving for dollars, and he's making close to 6 figures by himself. No team, no squad, no nothing. Door knocking and drive for dollars, and this is pre-foreclosure, which I don't know if anybody are aware, but pre-foreclosures have jumped up somewhere around 300 and I think it's 382% in just the last couple of months. So knowing how to deal with pre-foreclosures is a really big deal. We're going to talk about that and those things, especially on the creative side.
Yes, you said September 8th.
Yeah. That one isn't free. Normally when we do big events like that, we have speakers come, we have food, and so we basically just charge to cover the food. But that's going to be a really big one. It's going to be here in Atlanta. It's going to be September the 8th. I thought the charge was on here, but I think it's like 45 or something like that. But definitely want to come out. And then I have Andrew. Andrew is an attorney here in Atlanta that one of his focuses is on working with investors and wholesalers in particular. And he does a lot of creative deals. So he's done creative deals with Abraham. I have a couple of deals that I'm talking to him about, getting ready to see if he can help us on it, especially with pre-foreclosures, because a lot of times cash isn't the best option, creative is. So that's the benefit that we get, right? You find a deal, then what ends up happening is we come in, buy it creatively, and we still pay you out for the deal. We take the deal over, and that becomes our buy and hold. The seller gets what they needed, you get what you needed. Andrew does the whole deal for me. Bada bing, bada boom, we move it. You know what I'm saying? In words of Rob, damn. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing. That's going to be on the 8th. So look forward to seeing as many of you guys out there. And then I have something else that I'm getting ready to launch. I'll talk about it briefly here for a second, and then I'll play this video clip here, kind of going over. Oh. Did you hear that? Could you hear that?
Did I say what?
Did you hear that noise? Like if I'm gonna play something. Let me know if you hear it.
No, I didn't hear it.
No, you don't hear it?
No.
Okay, all right. So there you go. So I was gonna play the video, but I'll just play it. If you guys want to see what our meetings are about and how we get down, just go to my IG. I was going to play this video here, but I don't think you guys will be able to hear it. And my IG is this, that flips, as you see there. What I was going to say is the thing that I'm getting ready to launch is going to help people who, if you are working a 9-to-5, but you want to get into real estate and start your own real estate business, and if you are looking to get started, but you're just like, I just need help, I don't know how to do it. I'm getting ready to start a program. I'm not going to take on a bunch of people because I don't want to overwork my team.
Yay! I'm sorry, I said yay.
But I'm getting ready to start a program where people can ascend. There's going to be 3 tiers of the program. So it's going to be depending on how much time you have and how much you want to learn comfortability wise, right? And now this is not a mentorship. I have had people talk to me about, hey, can you do a mentorship or some sort of coaching thing? Quite honestly, time is my biggest issue. If I was going to do it, I want to really be there. So I'm working on some things. I'm actually talking with Abraham Gray about doing a mentorship program or coaching program together. So maybe that could be an option. This would be different than that. What this would be is essentially you can either provide the list or you can bring the lead, or you can bring the deal. A difference between a lead and a deal is a lead is someone who's interested in selling, but you don't have it under contract. A deal is someone who's interested in selling and you have it under contract. Any one of those that you have, my team will handle the rest. So what we'll do is we'll call the seller, get it under contract if you don't have it under contract. We'll find out if you want to keep the property or you want to wholesale it. If you want to keep it, we'll get you in access to people with funds so you can be able to buy the property. If you want to wholesale it, we'll bring the buyer to the table to buy the property, and transaction coordinator will take care of the whole entire deal, and we work off of splits. So essentially, you can still be making money without having to necessarily have the time that you need to be able to do so. So that's something you guys can look forward to me coming out with that. I got to talk to the rest of the team, but it'll probably take another 7 days or so. So by the time we do our next Compin Atlanta, I'll be dropping that, and that'll be for everybody. Now, again, it's not going to be, I'm not taking on all of you, but I just want to be able to help out. And I think sometimes people just need a little push in the right direction. Get a check for 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 is a really good freaking push. So I want to be able to give back in any way that I can. Sounds like you got a question?
I did have a question.
What's
I wanted
up?
to make sure I didn't misunderstand. You said that, so basically they'll be able to become investors themselves?
Not investors, but essentially, well, yeah, it depends. If you're talking about the part where that you can buy the property, then yeah, you would be an investor.
And you guys will help them with the funding so that they can be approved to buy the property?
Yes, so not necessarily approved to buy a property. What we'll do is connect you with a private money lender, and so now that's your funding, right? So approval is only when you're getting FHA type of stuff. When you anything else is just you get the money, so you just are funded, right? So yes, we'll connect you with like our private money lenders that we have. We won't take nothing off of that. That's just that's a phone call. Like I'm not going to charge anybody for making an introduction on a phone call. That's not a lot of work for me to do, and it's you winning, right? So it's like, shit, let's do it. You know what I mean? So yes, I don't know why Facebook be disrespecting you guys, but I can't tell your name, but yes, I will definitely put some videos out and stuff like that before next Thursday. I'm actually going to drop it on Thursday, so we got a lot of work to do in the back office to make sure it's organized. But I think it'll be a good thing, a good way to be able to help out, and we'll see how it grows from there. So that being said, my lovely co-star for the evening, thank you. Let me know what you need, and I'm waiting for your post. I want to see your post after this.
I will do that. I'm gonna go change my name and then post immediately after this.
All right, perfect. Well, if you need anything, then definitely reach out. Let me know, and I got you. And for anybody else, if you need anything, reach out to me. I'm on all social platforms. You have my phone number out there. We're just looking to help, and we're looking to change the narrative around real estate in Atlanta. And I think if we all work together, not only can we do it, but we can surpass what anybody thought is possible. So with that being said, stay charged up, everybody. Let's make it happen.
Hey. Bye.